Hello and welcome. I am Laura Radnicki of lauraradnicki.com, a craft site with fast, fun, and easy craft projects. And the best part is there's no perfection required here. So we're working our way through the 30 Days of Ornaments project, and today is day 15. So we are at our halfway point. Today we are going to be making a Doily Dreamcatcher ornament. So I made a version of this with a huge embroidery hoop, maybe it was like 13 inches in diameter. And it's a big statement piece on my wall in my living room. And so I loved it so much that I thought I would make a smaller version to hang on the Christmas tree. So I have a 3-inch embroidery hoop here. I get these in a multi-pack on Amazon. So I have, my supplies are an embroidery hoop. I have just a leftover piece of a doily. I believe these either came from my grandma or a garage sale. I can't remember, but any kind of, lace doily would work. I like this because it has some holes here, which makes it easier to thread the yarn through at that later step. So we have part of a doily here. And then for our tails that will hang down from the Dreamcatcher, I'm using yarn and some thin twine, and I use that together to kind of create some interest and variation in the tails that will hang down from the Dreamcatcher. So, and then in addition to that, we have scissors and hot glue. So the first step is to decide how we want the doily to be in our hoop. So I want to have these big holes at the bottom. So what you do first is just lay the doily down on the middle of the hoop, the middle part of your hoop, and then you're going to take this outer portion and lay it on top. You loosen it with this little screw, lay it on top and push it down, and it will look like that. So once if you think, yeah, that looks pretty good, then you tighten the screw up to hold it in place. Now, in one of the previous videos that we did, we used a different method of finishing off the back of the hoop. We took embroidery thread and a needle and sewed through and then kind of cinched it up together. But for multiple reasons, that won't work in this project. One, I don't have enough excess to do that. And two, when it's not solid, when there's holes like this, if we did something with thread, and we would be able to see it if all of this excess was behind it. So what I'm going to actually do is trim it to maybe about 1/4 of an inch around the hoop. And then I'm going to use hot glue, put hot glue on the inside corner and bend my excess around. And I think that will be a good way to finish it. We won't see the excess and it will help keep it tight, but we just won't be able to adjust it after it's done. But I think the glue will help hold it in place so it doesn't matter. So I'm going to cut with my scissors the excess off to about 1/4 inch. And that one side's a little less than 1/4 of an inch. No perfection required here, guys. Just fun. Okay, so I'm going to cut all of this away. Let's check our glue gun here. I think it needs to heat up a little bit more. But while we wait for the glue gun to heat up a little more, we are going to move on to the next step, which is preparing for our tassels. So I like to have 3 sets of tassels coming down. And so what we need for that is 3 sets of string. And so I decided to do 2 yarn pieces and 1 twine piece per bundle. So I cut pieces that are about little bit less than 18 inches, but it doesn't matter. You can trim them up. So let's say 18 inches. So this one has 2 yarn and 1 twine piece. So there's 1 bundle. Here's a second bundle. And here's a third bundle. And so what we will end up doing is using these to thread through and create our tails that will hang down from the Dreamcatcher. But first we want to go around and put a little bit of glue on the inside of the rim. And this is a tricky part because you don't want to get your fingers in it. But it's kind of hard to do without sometimes. So I'm just going to go around the whole hoop, gluing the edge back. Okay, so I glued that around, and so that's all secure. Now our next step is to attach these tassels. So I lined them all up, and these are longer probably than I will need, so I can trim them at the end. And what we want to do is fold them in half, fold our section in half, and then we're going to take this loop and we're going to feed it through one of the holes at the bottom of the doily from front to back. So I'm going to kind of push it through and grab it from the back, and then we're going to take the loop and we're going to put the tails from the front through it, and it creates kind of a little loop there. And then we're going to cinch it tighter. And there is our first tail. So we want to go from front to back with the loop rather than back to front. So front to back, because then this part right here we will see from the front. If you do the other way, this would be what your tail would look like, which, I mean, if that's how you like it, you can do it that way too. But I like having this part here, this little band, visible from the front. So I'm going to continue on and put one over here and one over here from our bundles of string. Okay, so now we can cinch it all up tight, and we are almost done. So now we want to look at it and see if we need to clean up any of our bottom. And actually, I don't really need to trim too much. Here's a little long piece hanging down from the twine. But if you have any unevenness, you can trim it up here. But I think things are looking pretty good. Now all we need left is to add our hanging string. And so I have 2 different sizes of twine here that I can choose from. I can use the same thin twine that we were using before, or I have some thick twine. And I think I'm going to use the same thin twine, and I'm going to use the same type of loop that we used to put those tails on. So I'm going to take my thin twine, fold it in half. Here's my loop. I'm going to put the loop through this top hang part from front to back. Take my loop, put the tails through, and pull it tight. And then this way it hangs pretty straight. Then I'm going to just knot my hang string and trim off a little excess there. And our Doily Dreamcatcher is done. Doily Dreamcatcher ornament is done. So I think that is super cute, and it's exactly a smaller version of the big one on my wall, which I think is kind of fun too. But it's customizable. You can use whatever color or kind of string and yarn that you want and customize it to your home decor or your tree decor colors, whatever you want. So this is day 15 in our 30 Days of Ornaments project. So I invite you guys to go check out the Mama Makers Club. It's our craft community. It's totally free on our site. You can find more information to see if it's right for you at lauraradnicki.com/library. And when you sign up for that, you get access to our free resource library. And that resource library is full of printable patterns and downloadable free checklists and cheat sheets and other resources to help you stay inspired and make the projects on the site quickly and easily, just to help you make more things, because ultimately that's why we're here. So I'd love for you to check it out, see if that might be a good fit for you, and if you think it is, I'd love to have you a part of that. So that's lauraradnicki.com/library. And we will be back next time for ornament number 16 in our 30 Days of Ornaments project, and I hope you'll join us there.